Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gambling Goals. I am your host, Mitch Carr. You can find me on Twitter at MitchCarrTV. I, in my spacious guest bedroom here, all the best studio locations for all of our viewers out there. Prospector Sam, you can find him on Twitter at Prospector_Sam. He is in a bunker in an undisclosed location underneath the rocks and dirt that he's so, every day he's just working so hard to break it for you to find gold nuggets. It's an undisclosed location because he's so famous right now. He's so hot in other areas besides soccer that we can't tell you where he lives. He might be swamped. He might be killed. Prospector Sam, how do you feel to possibly be crushed under your own success?
That's the life we live for, right? Pressure makes diamonds, and I'm not much of a diamond miner, but it works for the rock analogy here, and we're feel pressure, we're building it up, but it's been a good season so far. The record is kind of near the mid 500 point line. It's not quite so telling in soccer where you're betting all over the place with different values and stuff. We're still doing pretty well money wise. We bet some stuff that's a little bit more of a long shot sometimes, so that the close to 500 record doesn't tell you all that much necessarily. But we're feeling good. The Gambling Goals is going well. We're back from international break. I didn't lose all my money betting on, African and Asian World Cup qualifiers or picking, Gibraltar to get shut out or whatever it was that, I was doing on any given day. So we got more money to spend, and let's see if we can make some extra cash.
That is a very good point. He is 22-20-1 on the season. We took the international break with the club teams, and he was 2-2 the last time we picked games, and that was in game week 11 of the Premier League season. And speaking of the Premier League, that's where we're going to start. We got a big one, a rematch of the FA Cup final. We've got Leicester City and Chelsea on Saturday, and that is the first game to welcome us back because that is the early match of Saturday. So what do you like here, Sam?
Yeah, sorry to all of you who have this game at 5:30 or 4:30 in the morning. It's 7:30 for me, which is still not that great on a Saturday morning. I'm usually a little groggy. Might have enjoyed a drink or two the night before, but not always. Yeah, I know. I'm not a Mormon. Shocking. Even though I do live in the mountains. But no, I like this game a lot. I don't really understand the line on it's about minus 120 for Chelsea, minus 130, give or take, where you're getting it. That doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me. Chelsea are one of the best, if not playing like the best team in the world right now. They've given up 4 goals in their entire Premier League season. Leicester is sitting in 12th place, not particularly good. They're not pulling more. They're pulling about a little over 1 point per game in the Premier League. If this was a similarly situated team that wasn't, I can't believe I'm saying Leicester is a big name, but a big name team, right? If you're sitting there with Crystal Palace or whoever it was, right near them, this game would be, minus 200 easily. And Leicester being minus 125, I mean, they're still a decent squad, but they're not nearly what they've been the last few years. They're not playing very well, and Chelsea are just that good. So minus 125. These are the Champions League holders, the top team in the Premier League. Minus 125 feels kind of crazy to me. Chelsea have dropped points in 3 games this year, only 3. 2 of them were to City and Liverpool, the 2 teams that are actually competitive with them, and then 1 anomaly with the draw against Burnley. But that's it. I see this game as pretty comfortable Chelsea win. Minus 125 is good value. I mean, first place against 12th. In the Premier League should be a lot higher than that, and I'm happy to take minus 125.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe what the bookmakers are seeing here is that there are some issues with injuries with Chelsea, or at least there were before the international break. Lukaku had some issues. Werner had some issues. Pulisic is going on international duty. It doesn't look like he got hurt, but somehow he's going to end up with a hamstring injury and not play in the game because that's been his entire career. So you just don't know sometimes when these guys come back from international break. Me as a City fan, it's been the same thing with Kevin De Bruyne. Like you think you send him off healthy, and then he comes back from Belgium and he's wrecked. And so, I think the bookmakers are looking at that. But then again, Leicester has some guys playing on international duty too. Yeah. And they are over plus 300 if you wanted to pick them money line. And this is a team that was able to pull off a victory against Chelsea and on a neutral field in the FA Cup. I was actually surprised that Chelsea's odds were so low. At minus 125, I thought it'd be closer, minus 110, minus 115. Obviously, you see it the other way, but a road match after an international break, it can get tricky, especially in November as it starts to get colder and the miserable weather in England gets even more miserable. That's my only concern here is that Chelsea didn't look great before the break, has suffered some injury issues, and now faces a Leicester City team that has fewer international players and will be better rested.
What the fuck, Mitch? I thought we were supposed to agree on everything. Like, I mean, you're right.
Well, usually you just tell me I'm wrong, but so you actually think I have a point there, huh?
Well, I mean, I think that there's a well-made point on their offensive issues. I mean, Lukaku not being healthy is obviously a problem. But Leicester have been dealing with similar injury issues. I mean, James Maddison hasn't been the same player, since 2020, basically. They're not looking all that strong right now. I get it, and I think that's kind of to my point, right? Which is, you're seeing this as, then you bring up the FA Cup final, right? This team that beat them on neutral field, right? And it is the name. But what we've seen out of Leicester this year is not that team. I mean, they are not very good right now. The body of work through the whole season, we're 11, 12 games in now, and they haven't looked, nearly the same as they were, at all. So, a little rough patch for Chelsea recently. Obviously it's not, the greatest thing to see, but I think the body of work speaks for itself relative to this Leicester team. And that's why I think it's favorable odds. But maybe Mitch has got a few tricks up his sleeve, and he's just a little more clever than I am right now. It happens. It does happen.
Next up, sticking with the Premier League, West Ham United and Wolverhampton Wanderers, aka Wolves. They will also play on Saturday, nicely a little bit later in the day for most of you. Sam, this is an interesting matchup here because I feel like Wolves have overachieved and West Ham has definitely overachieved. And so what do you like in this match between two overachieving teams?
I always wondered why they named them Wolverhampton Wanderers when you already knew you were going to call them Wolves, right? Like they put the badge on they're Wolves. Why even bother with the Wanderers part? But
I'm confused why there are multiple Wanderers.
Yeah, no, I mean, back when Bolton was in the league, it was like we've got multiple teams wandering around. Now, I was checking on Bolton.
Why are they wandering? I don't get it.
They're wandering down to League One now. So, League One. Yeah, they were playing in the FA Cup in like the Boonies leagues in like the early rounds today. I was a little embarrassed for him. But yeah, no. So this game, I mean, both these teams have obviously overachieved. West Ham is kind of overachieving with their goal scoring ability. They're still conceding fairly high levels. Wolves have overachieved mostly in the recent weeks. They're probably the last 5 games they picked up. They were doing pretty poorly to start first 5 or 6 games. So it's kind of a mixed bag. I mean, these teams are going to regress a little bit. Maybe not so much Wolves because they're kind of only at the middle of the table, and that's sort of where they belong. West Ham definitely. Which is why we're not taking a team in this game. We're going with something a little bit different this time. Both teams to score, yes, is about minus 130. Some of you might not have bet this before. It's a bit more of an unusual one. It's one that I like to take when I think that there's value on kind of picking this specific choice as opposed to an over. And I think this game has that. And I kind of explain why. So this is a game, right, where you think that, I think West Ham is going to score. They put up, over a goal and a half a game. Wolves, on the other hand, are kind of a little bit shakier on offense, but they've scored in 5 of their last 6. They average over a goal a game. They're probably good enough to put one in against this West Ham defense that isn't all that good. And then you have to decide, do you think this game covers the 2.5 number, right? If you're going for the over, you'd be saying, yeah, it's an easy 2.5. Or you can go with both teams to score. And what that gives us is the protection of a 1-1 draw. Which I think is a fairly decently likely result. I see this game kind of being in the 1-1 or 2-1 range. So going with both teams to score gives us the protection of that 1-1 draw, and all we lose is a game that ends 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. If you were going with the over, right? So this is kind of a safer bet. You lose about you go from about minus 105 to about minus 130. And it gives you a little bit of protection on that back end where you think, this game kind of could come down to, a 1-goal flip. I think both these teams score. I don't think the value is there, or you're losing much value by giving up the 3-0, 4-0 final win, because I don't think either of these teams really has it in them. So I like that little extra bit of safety with the 1-1 draw. And I think both teams to score is great. Again, like I said, West Ham are almost a shoe-in to score. Wolves are a little bit shakier, but this West Ham defense is not all that great. I think 1-1, 2-1 are both very, very likely results here. I like both teams to score at minus 130.
I don't think anybody was less happy to see the international break come than West Ham because they put it on Liverpool. I mean, they played well. And then, you have a 2-week break basically between games and you're going, I want to play again tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's not the way it works, though. But that they are in third, tied on points with Manchester City. They're behind in goal differential, and we are, a third of the way through the season. And I don't think anybody saw that coming.
no, I mean, they had a great season last year. I don't think anyone saw, this level of quality coming. And again, they will regress at some point. These next 4 months, we don't have another international break until about February or March now. And they'll get through the grind and things will kind of start to separate a little bit. They'll regress. But this is not the game where they regress. Wolves are really not all that talented. They've kind of struggled with the coaching changes, obviously losing, their better players, Jota being the key one last summer. But that they're just, these two teams are going to play, a fairly close game, I think. And, I like both of them to put at least a goal in.
All right, moving on to Germany, another league. He's had a lot of success here, has Prospector Sam, a good record when betting on the Bundesliga, and a good record when betting against Arminia Bielefeld. Bielefeld? Yeah, I was supposed to learn how to actually pronounce this, and I didn't. And so here we are. They're playing Wolfsburg on Saturday. They're hosting Prospector Sam. I don't know about pronunciation, but I know you know about what you want to pick in this match.
Yeah, I keep thinking it's Armenia every time I do it. I go to write the articles and I put the E instead of the I, and then I realize I'm probably offending somebody if I spell that wrong. Now that we're getting into two actually different
totally
places.
Different country.
Yeah, so we're you're doing better if you just can't pronounce Bielefeld. Like, you're all right. I'm actually trying to piss off populations of people. Not that they probably read my articles, but if they did, they'd be upset. On to the actual game. Wolfsburg are just a totally confusing team right now. They're in fourth place, and I don't really think anyone understands how that's possible. They've scored 12 goals in 11 games and conceded 12 goals. So it's like virtually impossible for them to be in fourth place. It makes no sense. I really don't understand.
That tells me the Bundesliga is crap this year.
It just tells you that like something's fucked up. Like it is a statistical anomaly. But that said, they're still a fairly good team. They're competitive in their UCL group right now, tied in second place in that group on points. They're gonna just be better than Arminia. I mean, Arminia has only scored 7 goals all year. They're in second to last place, minus I think 9 goal differential. This is just not a very good team. And what you're getting here is kind of the odds are pushed down. It's about minus 110 on Wolfsburg to win this game for a team that's a team that finished in the 4th place last year in the Bundesliga. That's still a very competent team filled with a lot of talent. I think that number is just not right against a team that was promoted recently and just hasn't won anything in the Bundesliga since they got up here. This game feels much more like fairly comfortable win for Wolfsburg. Obviously them not scoring a lot of goals is going to make it hard to be comfortable winners, but I think that they're definitely the better team here. Would have seen this closer to minus 150, minus 160 against the fairly thin Arminia team, and minus 110. I think that's good value for what we're getting here.
Yeah, I like to pick the fact that Wolfsburg is 4th in the league, and the fact that Bielefeld. Sorry, I keep wanting to call him Belfield. You want to call him Arminia? I want to call him Belfield. Arminia Belfield. Sorry if you're a huge fan of Arminia Bielefeld. Are bad, but yeah, they're in 17th. Firmly in the relegation conversation versus Wolfsburg, which is currently in the Champions League playing and also in the Champions League places. So minus 105, that's almost like a Vegas knows something and we don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, except for Vegas isn't watching a lot of Bundesliga soccer. I mean, this is one of those games, right? And you have the international break. You got a lot of guys playing in international games for Wolfsburg, not a lot for AB. We'll just call them from now on. So maybe there's something for the rested legs or whatever it is. I don't like the spin that way. I think Wolfsburg are just a better team, but maybe you're right. Maybe this is like the primetime NFL games right now, and whatever everyone sees is just the opposite. So I guess we'll find out.
Speaking of nobody's watching a lot of this league, the Danish Super League in Copenhagen versus AGF R. Aarhus in the middle of the league. Aarhus. We're not going to get relegated. No, that was bad. Okay. That's what happens when you try to freestyle with 1970s pop. Okay. What do you have in this one? Let's ignore the typo, please.
Well, it's okay. I've been doing this for pretty much the entire season so far. I keep coming back to Copenhagen to win matches, and they keep winning these comfortable games against mid-table teams. And the books just don't really seem to be adjusting. I'm not really sure why or how. It makes no sense. This Copenhagen team is just far better than everyone that isn't named Midtjylland or maybe like Brøndby, one or two other sides in the Danish Superliga. And they win these games comfortably. They have the best goal difference in the league. They're sitting in second right now, behind Midtjylland, but they are, probably the best team in this league. They win all these games comfortably. I mean, one of the beauties of the Danish league is there's only 12 teams in it, which means they play each other repeatedly. They played this game in our house, in August or beginning of September, and Copenhagen won on the road 3-1. This is just a better team. They have more talent. They are going to, comfortably, in my opinion, win at home. I've seen this line probably closer to minus 150. That's what I bet it at. If you did it minus 130, I mean, bet the house, bet your kidney, whatever it is. I saw you can sell your kidney on the black market for $200,000 a day. Somebody sent me a text message about that, and I was like, man, that's like a few years off work. I don't need one of those. So maybe think about that. Maybe think about that. I think Copenhagen wins this game. They're a far better team. They should handle this at home. I like this bet a lot. It's probably my favorite bet of the 4, and I think they cover this one comfortably.
Brokeback Denmark, Copenhagen. I can't quit you.
We're getting into we're crossing all sorts of, I'm not going to say lines.
Hey, man, if you're talking about selling your kidney for $200,000 on the black market, I can mention an Oscar-nominated movie, yeah?
No, I'm just saying we're getting into so many different areas now. It's like it's hard to keep track. But yeah, let's go some Brokeback Mountain. We can throw in, whatever it is. That's what we're here for, right?
Look, man, if you don't have to be gay to enjoy the movie. It's a classic, okay? It's a classic story about forbidden love, just like your forbidden love for betting Danish soccer.
I've never seen it actually, but yes, I'll accept the analogy, and maybe I'll find some time to watch Brokeback Mountain soon.
I think you as a rock breaking prospector would really appreciate the pastoral countryside and the cowboys, and you can just look the other way on the man sex.
I mean, I'll just watch all of it. It was nominated for an Oscar. I should just be appreciative of the art, right?
It is wonderful art. Let me tell you,
prospectors aren't cultured people, and we love the arts. We go to concerts all the time. I have a cousin who's a concert violinist. We're a cultured people, and I don't think people appreciate that.
Man, the beard belies that. But okay. No more beard discrimination here. We're going to go back through the picks for you as we've crossed every line, social and otherwise, in this podcast. Back to the EPL. Chelsea at Leicester City Saturday. He likes the Chelsea money line. That's at minus 125. Staying in the EPL, Wolves and West Ham United. That's also Saturday. He likes both teams to score in that one at minus 130. Bundesliga, we're calling them BA now. That would be BA.
You couldn't even get the acronym.
AB. We're calling them AB, Arminia Bielefeld. Oh, I did it again. They're playing Wolfsburg on Saturday. He likes the Wolfsburg money line. That's minus 105. And the Danish Superliga, I can't quit you. Copenhagen versus AGF Aarhus. And Aarhus in the middle of the street doesn't have much of a chance. Copenhagen money line at minus 130. Hopefully you can put all those in a parlay and win big money. I should probably calculate what the odds are on that. We should just let people know. If you want to back the prospector heavy, what the odds would be on a parlay. Look for that next week. We're going to add that in. I am your host, Mitch Carr. You can find me on Twitter at MitchCarrTV. He is Prospector Sam in an undisclosed location, breaking all the rocks for you. You can find him on Twitter at Prospector_Sam. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next week.